Why did CEO pay get so out of control everywhere else?
Well, because you've got an intensity of interest with one party, the CEO, and you've got a comp committee that meets, once a quarter for a couple of hours and has a whole bunch of other things, and you have a human relations person interacting with them who works for the CEO and who in the past has suggested the consultant, and you don't suggest consultants who are Dobermans. You get Cocker Spaniels and make sure that their tails are wagging. So it's totally stacked. I mean, CEOs who will stay up till 5 in the morning negotiating with labor unions day after day after day to get the last 5 cents per hour out of wages, will come in and say, well, here's this other contract, and they give me golf club memberships, and they do all these other things. So there's this ratcheting up, and ironically, the proxy rules have made it worse, because the proxy rules have been a guideline to every CEO as to what the other guy's getting.
Yeah.
And envy is a huge factor. Envy's bigger than greed on that. I mean, they just, there was one CEO on a board I was involved with that made lots and lots and lots of money. He left it all to charity when he died. And he just couldn't bear the idea that other CEOs, that he wouldn't make more than they were, because he thought he was better. It had nothing to do with personal consumption habits or anything.
Competitiveness.
Yeah.
It's the same competitiveness. To me, that's one of the problems. It's the same competitiveness that makes them successful as CEOs, that keeps them going even after they are wealthy. But at a personal level, it can get in the way.
Yeah, and what comp committee is going to say to the consultant, we'd like to be in the bottom quartile in terms of our, but somebody's in the bottom quartile on performance. So you have this non-existent bottom and even next to bottom quartile for comp, but you certainly have a bottom quartile next to bottom quartile on performance. The nice thing about Berkshire, again, it takes me no time, because people know that I'm looking at it objectively. I mean, I may be wrong, but in terms of where I come out, but it isn't because I'm trying to twist this or that.
Right. You're just acting like a shareholder.
I'm acting like an owner.
Okay. I like a quote that's in one of your annual reports, that you look for a CEO who will perform regardless of weak structural constraints. And so that's the same point that you're making, that it's the CEO who just is going to do it because they love doing it.
These people, they run their businesses, and we've got some fourth-generation businesses. I mean, these people poured their lives into it, and they've thought about all the problems connected with it. And there's certain things they don't like dealing with banks or with Wall Street sometimes. And so here I come along, and I can relieve them of that sort of thing. And now I come down to the office at 79 for 2 reasons. I mean, I love what I'm doing, but that's because I'm getting to paint my own painting. And I sit there and I'm looking at that ceiling, and I think it's the Sistine Chapel, and I'm Michelangelo. Well, reality is sort of in conflict with that. But I do get to paint my own painting. And if somebody said, why don't you use more blue paint instead of red paint? I would hand them the paintbrush, and I would say, here's what you can do with this paintbrush. And the other thing I like is I like appreciation. I like people cheering for me. Yeah. And if I like that, and I'm independently wealthy, why shouldn't our managers who are independently wealthy feel the same way? So I let them use their own paintbrush. They do it different ways, but they get great results. And then I want them to feel not only my appreciation and get my applause, but our shareholders as well, which is why at the end of our movie in the annual meeting, we show the pictures of all those managers, and the shareholders, they cheer for them.
Yeah, well.